Amazing guest on the show with me today, Paula Rosales. Paula is an advanced practice registered nurse, board certified as a primary care pediatric nurse practitioner with over 17 years of experience caring for children. She received a Bachelor of Science in Nursing from California State University, Long Beach, and a Master's of Science in Nursing from Yale University, as well as a PhD in Nursing Science from University of California, Irvine. She is also the founder and owner of the Sweet Arrival LLC. Her company is dedicated to helping parents to be prepare for their baby's arrival through parenting classes and concierge services. And I am so glad she's here. Thank you so much, Paula, for being a part of the show. And tell us about yourself.
Well, thank you for having me and for introducing me so nicely. Yes, that is my academic background. You and I met back at Yale, which was such a great experience. And I founded this company to try to help parents prepare for their little one's arrival. I just found that we never had time in our visits that was long enough. And I can talk about that later. But that was is what drove me to start my company was having friends and family ask me questions about their little ones and realizing that we can never have enough support as parents. So that yes, I've used my academic background, my background as a mom, and kind of united the two to create this company that I hope will be of service to others.
Oh, I love that. And I think that's so true. We need this village. We need more community. We need more of this. And I love how you take that academic background and put it into motherhood.
Oh, absolutely. I have in my mind a timeline of my practice, and there's the time before I had kids and the time after. And even though the recommendations are the same, right? We follow the American Academy of Pediatrics, the CDC. The recommendations never changed of what I say, but the reality check of what it means to have a baby in your home, that perspective changed so much the day I had my little one. And so that has allowed me to create a company that takes into account the recommendations with the reality. So I remember being a new NP, young, 27-year-old with no kids, no, I was single and being very strict. And just when
Yes.
families would ask me a question, I was like, nope, nope, that is what the American Academy, nope, that I'm sorry. Whereas now, even though I still give the same recommendation, I acknowledge what they're asking me a little better. I say, okay, I hear you. Yes, it is so much nicer to have your baby in the bed. But let me tell you what can happen. Like you can roll on them. It's not safe. So I acknowledge first the experience of a parent, and then I can provide the why versus very robotically just saying what's in the book and what we're supposed to do. And I think if you explain to parents the why, it
Mhm.
makes more sense and they're more willing to then take those recommendations to heart. And so in the class I've created, my newborn care class, I absolutely go deep into the why of why we give those recommendations. And that's the feedback I've gotten from parents is that, oh, I didn't know why I had read this. I didn't know why that was the recommendation. So, yes, in my mind, there's just this clear starting point when I had kids and how I started to practice after that. Like I said, nothing changed in terms of what's safe for kids, but just acknowledging the parents' experience makes such a difference. And not that you can't be a great provider not having kids, because that's not it at all. It's just a different perspective. And anyone can try to put themselves in the shoes of someone who has a baby in their home, and what that must be like when you're midnight alone with that baby and you need to remember those recommendations.
Absolutely. I think that's so true. And I think that's such an important point, that perspective. And anyone can have this perspective. It's not just necessarily
Right.
with moms.
The why is the key to helping our patients understand why we say the things we do, why that medication is going to help, why um, you know the research has shown, talking about the research and the background behind what we say is great. And that's where I feel like my background has helped me. So in the PhD program, that really helped me to understand research and how to break it down. Um, you know, in depth and doing my own research in the program, it just gives you a different perspective. So I brought all that in to create these classes. My research was on resilience in cancer survivors. So that's what I did in my program. But that ability to break down research and then use it with families is the goal, right? Of academics and medical research.
Absolutely. I think that's so true. That is, I mean, that, like you said it beautifully, like that is the goal. Tell us more, like, just all about it, because I think this is
Yeah.
such a cool service.
Yeah. So I'd love to share it. It's actually an idea I had at Yale a long, long time ago. So
Yeah.
over 15 years ago, we had a professor who talked about, I think just in passing, how some nurses can have businesses, for example, um, working with daycares or inspecting different things. And it just planted an idea of, oh, that would be so cool to have a business. Then as I graduated and started working as an NP, a pediatric nurse practitioner, I would get questions from family members. I would get questions from other like my undergrad nursing friends. And when they were having their babies, questions about their kids. And I thought, you know, it's interesting that even my friends who are nurses are asking me, that we all can use support. It wasn't just my friends or family who were not medical. And it kept that idea kept growing. I planted it, in grad school, and it just kept growing and growing, kind of, it was like not a burden at all, like something so exciting, a desire to create something. So through the years, it just kept growing, and I thought I want to have a business. Like I would love to have time with families to really sit down and go over recommendations and prepare them for their babies. So then that was part of my motivation to go get my PhD, because I thought, you know what? I think if I can really understand research, if I can really break it down for families, that would just help this business. So that's a really long path to take to start a business. You don't have to get a PhD. But that was one of my motivations for my PhD, something I'd always wanted to do, but I also felt like that would help create a business that was founded in research, that was founded in evidence-based recommendations. So I did that. And then, and now we're talking 10 years, right? This like desire keeps growing in me. It through the years, I had started working on a business plan. I had started working on, researching what it meant to start an LLC, researching what marketing was. So even though it sounds like work, it was actually my escape. So it was something I did for fun on the weekends after work. You'd always find me on my computer figuring it out. Um, and then finally, 3 years ago, I said, okay, this is it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to just create the LLC. And
Yeah.
just one step at a time, I met with the lawyer, created the LLC. We created the website, just one little step. And it has taken years and over a decade for the idea to come to life, but it has been such a fulfilling experience for me. Um, on a personal note, just to know to have a goal and to achieve it is even, it didn't matter to me. I mean, I wanted to be successful, of course, but just to reach a goal that you are so passionate about, it meant a lot, and something that I just could never let it go. It just was growing in me. And so that is where the idea came from seeing the need from my family and friends for more time, and then a desire on my part to discuss, keep kids safe, right? At the end of the day, that's the goal, for kids to be safe, for kids to grow healthy. I started my career in the ICU, in the pediatric ICU. And so I had seen a lot of tragedy there, a lot of preventable things, which is motivated me to become a pediatric nurse practitioner. And so that motivation, I feel like I've just always been motivated by things. So from the ICU to becoming a pediatric NP, and then moving on to looking at research and how to keep kids safe. I know it's a long way to answer your question, but just it's been over 15 years of this desire, this I could just never let it go, and now that it's come to life, it's just so fulfilling. I've gotten great feedback from families, just to see that my vision is coming to life and they are seeing it. So a review I had recently was that I gave the why behind the recommendations. And that almost brought me to tears because I was like, that is my goal. That has been my desire, is
Yeah.
for families to understand the why. Because then you're more likely to, um, do those things versus someone telling you, talking down to you and telling you what you need to do without any understanding of the why. Um, so I hope that answers your question. It's been a long journey, but a fulfilling one. And I'm just so grateful for my friends and family that have supported me. And because you can't do this alone, my husband has been my biggest cheerleader. And we have a funny story because I think on our second date, I told him about my business idea. So
That's
he
awesome.
just knew I was not going to let that go. Yes, I think I just the from the moment we met, I was like, well, I'm going to start a business one day. So he's been my cheerleader. And now even my oldest son is always asking me about my business and giving me ideas how to market. So it's really sweet how the family has come together to support me.
Oh, that's amazing, Paula. I love that. And I love hearing about your story and just this I can see like the passion. I can feel that just how I'm so proud of you. Sometimes we'll talk about that where we plant little seeds and
Yes.
sometimes we can't like keep digging them up and making them grow when grow when they're supposed to grow. We have to kind of give it time, give it the right amount of light and that's amazing.
When I had my first baby, I signed us up for a class because I wanted my husband to hear it from somebody else, right? It's different
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
your wife says it and it comes from somebody else. So we signed up for like a baby 101 class.
Sure.
And that was when I was like, I can do this better. I, you also have to have confidence in yourself of what you know. And I thought, I can do this with the whys, and I can do this better, and so that was motivation too. It's just it wasn't easy for me to get to that point, but just to say that um we can all use help,
Yep.
and that also showed me what I could improve on what was already out there.
Mhm.
Add to your comment about the healthcare system, we just don't have a system that supports moms. And so, like you said, those 10 minutes with the provider, my last baby was born during the time when there was no formula. And I remember going and there was one can left at Walmart. And I was having a lot of trouble breastfeeding. And when I went to my appointment, even though this is a great practice and provider, they're like, well, you can just use formula. And I was thinking, there's no formula. Like I just went to Walmart, there was no formula. So just, we don't always get what we need because and I don't blame them. Like you said, our time as a provider, we know we have a very short window to see our patients and we need to move on. Um, but just that troubleshooting and talking things through, and oh, you need help breastfeeding, here are a list of resources. Those are the kind of things that um, I talk about in my class, like, oh, if you have trouble breastfeeding, look to a lactation consultant. These are some resources, La Leche League, different things. So when you leave my class, you have resources available to you.
Mhm.
But all that to say that we need to improve our healthcare system and how we set moms up for success.
Tell us more about these classes. I know
Yeah.
that you are based in the Dallas Fort Worth area.
Mhm.
Tell us now, do you have in-person classes, virtual classes, or what would you like kind of take us through like how can we sign up for one? What do we
Yeah.
expect from them?
Absolutely. So we do two types of classes. We have small group classes, and we have private classes. So that small group classes are about 8 people, 8 to 10, and we do them at fun coffee shops. So, and coffee's included, you get a pastry. So you're coming in with your, whatever you want to drink, whether it's, a lemonade or whatever you want to have. You can come in and have that. And then it's just we do a class, like a lecture type class, but because the class is small, people can ask questions. It's easy to get support from other families. It's just a really comfortable setting, laid back. You can ask questions. I personally like taking notes. So I have markers of different colors and pens, and people, I have little outlines you can write notes on. I also send emails later with resources. So you don't have to take notes if you don't want to, but it's a laid back coffee house setting. Um, and you go to my website and you would choose the group class, and you can either come as a couple or as individual. And then the private classes are really special, and that's where we really set ourselves apart. We go to people's homes. So if you sign up for a class, you can schedule the class through our calendar. And if you need something, different time, you can always reach out to me. And I go to your home and I set up everything to practice on the dolls. I have a projector for the slides, and I'm not reading off slides. It's just as a simple guide for people. I find people like to look at something, but it's just very not informal, because there's definitely a structure to it, but you can ask me questions as we go. You can show me things maybe at your house that you have a question about. It's really special. I have found families just absolutely love it, and it has just been a great experience. People feel like it's a one-stop shop because I cover what you need to know before the baby arrives to prepare their homes, cars, everything. The day the baby arrives, I also talk about what that looks like so that you're aware of what are the common procedures your baby might have, and the why. Why are you getting a vitamin K injection? Why are you getting hepatitis B shot? So I explain the why of that day, and then what to expect in the next 3 months of life. So we talk about feeding your baby, changing diapers, skin care, nail care, circumcision care. Like we talk about all you might come across in those first 3 months. So it's 2 hours, but it is, people have used the term one-stop shop. Whereas a lot of times, a lot of classes in the community are broken down into several classes, which is fine. But then it does make it hard to schedule, right? If you're busy, you're working, you're doing other things, it's hard to go to 5 different classes versus putting aside a Saturday or a Sunday afternoon to just do the one class. But both types of classes you can sign up on my website, and it's very easy to walk you through it. And on the website too, you'll see all the topics that I cover. Very long list of things we cover. And at any point, like I said, people ask questions and they feel heard. They feel like they were able to get their questions answered. I provide a lot of resources in the community, things that I've come across that were helpful to me. So that's how our class is broken down. And I designed the class. So this is an original class that I took a very long time to create, very passionately. It's all with the latest research, latest evidence from American Academy of Pediatrics, research articles, CDC, World Health Organization, and it's like I said, an original class that I created for my business. So this is a perfect class for someone in like their second trimester to come in and take, because I cover so much of how to prepare your home, your car, and yourself for baby, that you have time to then implement those recommendations before your baby arrives. And people have found it very, very helpful. When it comes to baby actually being here, I will direct you to your pediatrician,
Yeah.
just because I'm not the provider. But if there was something from the class that you forgot to ask or need a clarification, absolutely. People can reach. I give they have my email. But once baby's here, I kind of want to make sure that baby's being seen. We don't want to miss anything important. So once that happens, definitely we want you to go to your provider. But anything having to do with what was covered in the class, I'm happy to answer questions about. And then the hope is this year to create the next class, which will be from the 4 months to the year, right? So much happens, introducing solids. The development is just amazing, how kids just, they go from this little baby to someone walking around your house and, crawling.
Yes.
which I love. That first year is so much change.
Mhm.
And so that's the next class that we're developing. Absolutely. Their hospitals provide classes. The difference is one, if you take the private class, I am going to your home. It's at a time that's convenient for you. I really take pride in my background and my foundation. So I'm coming in with, 18 years now as a nurse and pediatric nurse. I've never, taken care of adults just other than nursing school. So I'm coming in with this huge background of knowledge
Mhm.
and research knowledge and foundation. So that is what I pride myself in. The difference in my class is you're getting an expert, you're getting someone who has been doing this for years. And the curriculum is original. It is created with the latest recommendations, which the hospital does too. But with a private class, you're going to be able to stop me and ask a question on the spot. We're gonna go at your speed. We're gonna answer your questions
Yeah.
versus a generic class. And just convenience, I would say, with the private class. And then with the group classes, they are small group classes. So again, you get the chance to ask questions. It's a fun setting with I have to say, I keep bringing up just the fact that you can have a fun drink.
Yeah.
You just have to have caffeine, but whatever you want to drink at that place, or have a pastry with water. But just the relaxed atmosphere of a coffee house, I found people just relax, and when you're relaxed, you're able to learn better versus a cold hospital setting, right? Or some cold conference room, where it's not as interesting. But again, it's the knowledge I bring. It's the original curriculum based on evidence-based recommendations, and that we go at your pace, answer your questions. It's not a generic class. We can stop and talk about formula for, 10 minutes if you want. We're not just reading through slides, everything is um, it's not a checklist of things we have to go through. It's very thought out. So I think that's what sets me apart is my background, the original class, convenience, atmosphere, just a fun experience. I think I have found people have fun. It's not a stressful class at all. It's just you're in the comfort of your home, you're in the comfort of a fun coffee place. So that's, I think, what sets us apart.
That's awesome. But I think it's different when you have it in a more comfortable setting. Are those like little baby mannequins? I don't
Oh,
mannequins. They stressed me out.
I have cute babies. I have to say, I have very cute little
The
dolls.
cute baby. Well, good. The cute baby is because I feel like
It's a cute
hospital
baby.
mannequins. Maybe it's all my
Yes,
hospital experience, or I'm thinking it's like a simulation or something. I don't
correct.
know.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I made it a point. It's funny you bring that up. I made it a point to not buy the CPR dolls.
Yes.
It's so unrealistic and scary. So no, I actually have a diverse group of cute dolls that I found after much looking around. I really like these dolls. So no, I understand. But it's funny because people have found that practice of what changing a diaper, the difference between boys and girls, how, wiping correctly to
Yeah.
avoid UTIs. So so I do have dolls, but they're cute, Valerie. I
I
promise.
love that. And that's what I think those little things. Is this mostly for first time moms? Can moms of, or second time moms, or like what would you say is like the typical clientele you
I
see?
would say the typical
Dads.
client is a first-time parent.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I think just that nervousness you have, that anxiety of your
Mhm.
first baby, um, it's just different from your other ones. So I would say our majority of clients are first-time parents, and they find it very helpful. And not that you can't take it if it's your second time. Maybe you had a large gap between your first and your second, or second and third, and you want to kind of be reminded, that also would be an excellent client. But anytime there's been a while since you took care of a baby, or you've never taken care of a baby, that would be kind of the ideal situation for this class. And to add, I forgot to mention our concierge services, because
Yeah.
that's another way that we support parents. So what we offer is, for example, you want to do a fun, date night with your significant other. We can help set that up. We're so busy when we're expecting. We can help you find vendors for baby showers. vendors for gender reveal parties, help you prepare your hospital bag. If you don't know what the heck to put on it, we can do that for you and just mail it, have it sent to your home. After we ask you some questions, so we make sure you have what you like and what you need, but we can do that. But just extra services to support you, because if you're working full time and you're expecting, it is hard to keep up with what you need to do, but you still want to have that experience of a cute hospital bag, or you want to have a fun gender reveal. So we can help with that as well.
Oh, I love that. That's so cool. And I love that you have those services as well.
Right now, we're not doing virtual just because I have created this as an experience. It is supposed to be something unique
Yeah.
and fun. Do you get the experience of having me there with you? So right now, no, it's not online. It's a very specific service. I wanted it to be in person. And we may expand as we keep growing, and it would always be like an RN teaching the class. But right now, it's me. But I absolutely anticipate we'll keep growing, and it would always be a registered nurse or nurse practitioner teaching the class. So you get that same experience.
I love
Yeah, and then we have the concierge services. We call them concierge experts, and they have good connections in the community and are able to connect people with the right vendors.
That's so
But
cool.
I think just what makes us special is the passion behind it, the evidence, the everything has a purpose and a reasoning behind it, right? So it's not every detail of this business, I assure you, has been thought out for a long time, debated in my head, discussed with other people. It's just exciting to see your dream come to life. So I think my customers see that. I think they see the passion, and they have they're pretty happy with what they've received. A gift is coming, it's arriving, and to me it has a connotation of exciting, right? Something's arriving, and then I wanted to describe that word, so I needed an adjective, and I just kept thinking, what could it be? At this point I don't remember what the other words were, but one day I was like, ah, and I had put the words together. I was like, the sweet arrival. I just loved it. To me, it's excitement of your baby arriving. It's a special time. There's so much anticipation around it. And it just fits so great. When it finally came together, I was so happy. And then, making sure that, was available and all that. But and then the website was available. So that was a sign to me too, that it was meant to be. But yeah, it was a long process, but I think I'm just a big nerd, and using the meanings of words and diagrams and all that just helped me come up with this.
Oh my gosh. Well, you are speaking to another word nerd. So so fun. I feel like I can talk with you all day. I absolutely love our chats and do where they can learn more about you and connect with you. Anything else you'd like to leave with us today?
Thank you so much. Yes, you can find me at thesweetarrival.com, and then on Instagram and Facebook at The Sweet Arrival. So it's nice and simple. And there you can sign up for our classes. You can sign up for a concierge service. I also, if you have a question, want to find out more about the business, you can do just a free 15-minute consult with me to discuss if we're a good fit. So that's available to you as well. And then on the website, you'll see the list of upcoming group classes. And the private classes you can sign up for at any time that's convenient for you. And then, anything else about me? I think what you said, I really liked that it's like a friend. I'm coming as an expert, but also as a mom, and with the understanding that not everything is perfect. We even talk about tough things in our class. We talk about what the NICU is. I cover that because I want every possibility, or have an understanding of what other things can happen in a delivery room. And that came from my own experience with my baby in the NICU. So I'm coming to you as an expert, but also as a mom who understands that the unexpected can happen in that delivery room. And there's unexpected things those first 3 months. And so we talk about, maybe you can't breastfeed, and that's okay. we talk about formula. So it's not so black and white. There's a lot of gray that we talk about in class. So I hope that if you're expecting that you can visit our website and sign up for a class.
I love that. I love that, Paula. And I love how you have that realness, the expectations that so many times are expectations, but not necessarily like what happens, I feel
Mhm.
like. And that is where that whole, the friendship, the fellow, like I've been there, I've lived that, I know that. And, how can I work through these emotions? How can I work or maybe prepare myself just a little bit from these experiences? And I think that really is so important. And I think that what you're doing, Paula, is so innovative. And I highly encourage anyone who's in the Dallas Fort Worth area to check out the Sweet Arrival. And I can speak from experience with knowing Paula now for almost, I guess, 2 decades. I don't know,
Yes.
probably close to, I don't even know what year it is,
Long time.
that, but long time. She's just amazing. And just, you are the epitome of what I feel like we need in that prenatal and, what we say, that fourth trimester, that for trying to work things out with new baby and mom, as well as I'm so excited to see what's next with your
Thank
classes
you.
from the 3 months to the year standpoint
Thank
as
you so
well.
much.
That's very
Yes.
exciting.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Valerie.
Thank you so much, Paula. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope everyone who's listening does as well.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you. You too.